Senator Marsha Blackburn is here with more. Senator, good to see you. Before we get into the details of inflation, crime, et cetera, it's not just Republican versus Democrats. It's the independents. The largest voting bloc in America are the independents. I think Democrats and Republicans have about 26 to 30%. The independents are about 44% of the electorate, and they are streaming away from President Biden and his policies.
And that's exactly right. And I talk to Tennesseans who classify themselves as independent every single day. And, you know, more women are independent than men. And I think that is also significant. But, David, you're exactly right. Whether you're talking about the border, crime in the streets, the amount of inflation, the poor response to COVID, these are issues that I hear about regularly. I would add to that, when you're talking with female voters, there's a lot of resistance to teaching CRT in the schools, and women want to see school choice.
Absolutely. Well, a perfect example of that is what happened on a state level in Virginia, where Governor Youngkin has taken over. And he really wasted no time. Last weekend was his first day in office. On the same day that he took the oath, he issued 11 executive actions, including one on education, of course, which is the main reason why he won, banning the use of CRT, of critical race theory, ending school mask mandates, crime. He terminated the entire parole board of the Commonwealth of Virginia, every single one of them who'd been having some of these crazy rules that increased crime. Green energy rules were changed. Pandemic rules were changed. I'm just wondering how much of what we see in Virginia might be repeated in other statewide elections.
Oh, you're going to see this repeated across the country, because it doesn't matter if it's Virginia or if it is Tennessee. You have these issues of safety and security, of education, what is happening in inflation. I did a telephone town hall last week for some of my East Tennessee counties. We had thousands of people on the call. And David, I asked a poll question. I said, is inflation adversely impacting your family budget? 93% of the people on that call said yes, it was adversely impacting their family budget. So these are issues that are not going to go away, and it really is the reason that Joe Biden is having such a difficult time getting anything from his agenda through Congress, because while they like to say, oh, we have a mandate from the American people, they don't. The American people thought he was going to be more independent-minded, and what they're expecting from him is to get things done to address these issues, to secure that southern border and stop the entry of individuals into this country that have not been tested for COVID. They're coming from 160 different countries. We do not know really who some of these individuals are. And while you had 2 million illegal entrants last year, you had also upwards of 500,000 coming across that as the gotaways, and they were evading arrest and apprehension. They did not want to be caught, and that's kind of the floor, not the ceiling, on that number.
Another problem for Democrats, they don't have much of a backbench. There are a lot of new rising stars in the Republican Party. I mentioned Governor Youngkin of Virginia. By the way, his lieutenant governor, Winsome Sears, a wonderful woman who's a Marine, a former Marine, a Marine veteran, and she's a rising star. You have Ron DeSantis in Florida. I mean, you have people who have a track record. And again, people are going to be judged. You don't judge politicians on what they say. You judge them on what they do. I've learned that in my long life. And you see what is being done in America. The only place that's really getting anything done are the Republican states. The Democrat states are trying policies or continue with policies that don't seem to work.
Well, they continue to try to go into lockdowns and mandates and things that do not yield a productive result. And then they say, well, we have to have more help from the federal government. Whereas you have states like Tennessee and Florida and Texas, and of course, the dynamic duo in Virginia. And I'm a big fan of Lieutenant Governor Sears. And you have people saying, no, we're going to trust the people. We're going to trust our state and our counties to fairly run elections. We're going to trust the people to select their candidates. We're going to trust our economy to work its way out of a hole. And they are getting less federal help, and it is that good old American ingenuity that is saying we have a problem, we're going to find a way to address it and to solve it.
Yeah, well, trusting the people is not a bad thing for government to do. I mean, that's what our government is supposed to be based on anyway. Senator, great to see you. Thank you for coming in today. Appreciate it.